Have you ever noticed how certain women move through life seemingly untouched by the years? There is something about them that defies what the calendar insists. Their presence radiates a luminosity that is not merely the gift of genetics, nor the result of skincare rituals or surgical perfection. It is something subtler, something that emanates from within, as if the soul itself bends the ordinary laws of time. This phenomenon is more than appearance, it is a revelation of how consciousness and energy shape the body that carries them. When we gaze at such women, we are not witnessing cosmetic illusion, we are encountering a spiritual truth. Their vitality whispers of mysteries that cannot be measured in hours and minutes. What shines through them is not a formula, but a rare alignment of inner and outer being. The condition of the soul, the clarity of the heart, the refinement of energy, these are the hidden architects of their timeless glow. Where others may fade into shadows of disappointment and regret, they continue to emanate a fresh light, as though eternity has chosen to make its home in their very features. Modern understanding often forgets this interconnection between psyche and form, but the wisdom traditions never did. They taught that consciousness sculpts reality, that energy flows where awareness rests. Some individuals vibrate at frequencies that escape the erosion of ordinary time. Imagine a woman entering a crowded space, she does not capture attention with loudness or artifice. Instead, light itself seems to curve around her. Her face bears the imprints of a life lived, yet her expression remains mysteriously fresh. Her eyes sparkle like ancient stars yet carry the wonder of a child. In her presence, you sense something rare, a harmony that belongs to both the earth and the eternal. This is the archetype of the luminous feminine, the soul that keeps its vessel youthful by the power of integration and presence. Depth psychology speaks of individuation, the process by which conscious and unconscious weave together to form wholeness. In Eastern practice, it is mirrored in meditation, the stillness where opposing forces unite. Women who embark on this inner journey begin to transform from the inside out. Their features soften, their energy brightens, and they carry within them what can only be called a timeless essence. They become living embodiments of what mystics once named the eternal feminine, the dimension of spirit that transcends decay and whispers of the infinite. Within them is attunement to a greater rhythm, a hidden music that connects all living things. Mystics of every age called it the world's soul, the anima mundi, the invisible thread of meaning that binds each life to the cosmic whole. These luminous women have tuned themselves to this rhythm through surrender, discipline, and deep awareness. Their personal time has synchronized with something vast, something that does not age. In such alignment, time ceases to be a tyrant, it becomes a partner. They no longer run against the clock, instead, the flow of life itself bends to their awareness. The mystery, then, does not begin in the mirror. It begins with the light within, the consciousness that animates every cell. It begins with the choice to live in a state of presence where suffering is transmuted into wisdom, where shadow is integrated into wholeness, and where the energy once lost to inner conflict becomes fuel for renewal. This is why their faces carry serenity instead of strain, and their posture speaks of confidence born not from pretense but from peace. They live proof that the soul's condition shapes the body's destiny. These women share a secret thread woven through their lives like golden light stitched into dark cloth. It is not that they have escaped suffering. Quite the opposite, they have walked through fire, loss, betrayal, and grief. But unlike others who carry bitterness etched into their features, they have alchemized pain into understanding. They refuse to let disappointment calcify in their hearts. What might have weighed them down has instead become the very force that lifts them. Their youthfulness is not the absence of struggle but the mastery of it. Consider the woman who has buried dreams, endured heartbreak, or stood in the shadow of profound loss, yet her face carries softness, her eyes hold compassion, and her spirit radiates warmth. She has not avoided life's storms, but she has chosen to dance with them. Through inner practice, she learned to transform darkness into light. This is what depth psychology once called active imagination, the dialogue with the unconscious where images and symbols reveal healing pathways. In Eastern wisdom, it echoes the meditative journey, sitting with the storm of thought until silence blooms. In both traditions, the message is the same: what we resist becomes poison, but what we embrace becomes medicine. Aging, then, is not merely biological. It is psychological and energetic. Where inner conflict consumes vital force, the body wears down. But when shadow and light are reconciled, energy once wasted becomes available for regeneration. This integration creates what alchemists name the philosopher's stone, the state of wholeness where the soul glows with renewed vitality. You can see it in the way such a woman smiles. Her smile is not painted, but born from deep alignment. You can hear it in her laughter, full, free, untouched by cynicism. You can sense it in her silence, pregnant with peace, steady as a mountain. The ancients spoke of two kinds of time. Chronos, the mechanical march of minutes and years, is the time most of us serve. It is relentless, indifferent, and binding. But there is also Kairos, sacred time, the eternal now, the space in which transformation becomes possible. The luminous woman has learned to live in Kairos. She still moves through Chronos when required, but she does not allow it to define her essence. For her, the present moment is not a point between past and future, but a vast field where eternity flows. This secret of time is carved not on her watch, but in the lines of her soul. When you meet such a woman, you are struck not by her years but by her presence. She does not pretend to be young, nor does she fear being old. She exists in a rhythm beyond age. Her features relax, her posture straightens, her gaze clears, because she has ceased waging war against herself. And in that cessation, energy once lost to struggle has returned to nourish her body, her mind, and her spirit. It is not resistance that keeps her youthful, it is surrender. She does not deny her shadow, she welcomes it home. And in doing so, she unlocks the rare alchemy of renewal. But there is something deeper at work here, something that reaches into the very fabric of time itself. The psyche, as the ancients and visionaries alike observed, does not obey the rigid mechanics of linear causation. It dances according to subtler laws, what modern thinkers once called synchronicity, the mysterious web of meaningful coincidence. Women who embody this luminous quality seem to dwell partially outside the grip of ordinary chronology. Their lives unfold with an elegance that suggests they are carried by currents unseen, moving to a rhythm larger than the tick of a clock. They have cultivated an inner witness, a part of consciousness that observes life without being consumed by it. In meditation practice, this is the still point, the awareness that sees thoughts arise and dissolve like clouds in the sky. In psychological terms, it is the observing ego. This ability to witness without identification creates distance from the frictions of daily existence. They see their own aging, yet do not become enslaved to it. This subtle detachment forms a protective shield, slowing the very process they behold. They age, yes, but as participants rather than victims, travelers rather than captives. Through this, they access what mystics and depth psychology alike call the bridge between opposites, the transcendent function. In Eastern wisdom, it is the balance of yin and yang, the meeting of stillness and movement, form and emptiness. This bridging creates a temporal sanctuary, a bubble where transformation takes root. Here, the usual erosion of time is softened. The body bends to the rhythm of the soul, not the tyranny of the second hand. Their years become marked not by decline, but by cycles of deepening renewal. Perhaps you have met one of these women. She may not look flawless by conventional standards, but her presence unsettles your sense of age. Her eyes gleam with a knowing that has walked through sorrow and yet discovered joy. Her laughter bursts from the heart's depths, cleansing the air around her. Her silence is not absence but fullness, a calm that carries the weight of wisdom. You find yourself wondering, is it her face that is ageless, or is it the soul within her that makes the years irrelevant? Science, too, now whispers confirmation. Epigenetics reveals that our emotional states rewrite our biology. Chronic stress frays the ends of our chromosomes, accelerating decay, while joy and peace extend their life. The telomeres, our biological clocks, respond directly to the vibrations of our inner world. In luminous women, this balance is not accidental. They have cultivated inner states of coherence, of harmony between heart, mind, and breath. Their very cells reflect this union, preserving their youth not as fantasy, but as the biological grace of alignment. The mystery, then, is neither myth nor miracle. It is the convergence of inner practice and outer presence. These women have tapped into reservoirs of vitality beyond their personal histories. They draw upon archetypal currents older than civilization itself, forces that have nourished the feminine principle across millennia. To encounter them is to sense the eternal moving through the temporal, the infinite touching the finite, the dance of consciousness with matter. Their youth is not an illusion, it is a truth that the soul, when whole, becomes the body's most radiant healer. At the core of this mystery lies the art of release, the ability to let die what no longer serves, without clinging to the familiar simply because it is known. These women understand that every stage of life demands a small death and a rebirth. Instead of resisting, they surrender with grace, shedding layers of identity like autumn leaves falling in silence. Where others accumulate the weight of old stories and regrets, they travel lightly, carrying only what nourishes their evolution. And so, their faces do not grow hardened by bitterness, nor their eyes clouded by disappointment. Their features remain supple because their souls remain free. They have also learned to wear the masks of society lightly. We all step into roles, mother, daughter, lover, professional, and too often, we mistake these masks for our essence. Over time, the over-identification with these personas creates rigidity, lines not only upon the face but upon the spirit. The luminous woman does not cling to such masks. She wears them like garments, exchanging them when seasons change, always remembering that beneath them lies her unchanging essence. In this way, she escapes the trap of being defined by external roles, living instead from the timeless source within. There is another secret alive in them, the balance of opposites. They hold within themselves the marriage of masculine and feminine energies, the integration of shadow and light, the embrace of strength alongside vulnerability. This union is an inner alchemy. It is the mystical marriage that sages once described as the konjunktio, the wedding of the seen and unseen, the temporal and eternal. From this marriage is born a new quality of being, one that radiates wholeness through every gesture, every glance. You see it in the way their features harmonize, in the light that flickers within their eyes. Their faces become living mandalas, symbols of inner balance and spiritual depth. What allows this balance to endure is their refined relationship with suffering. They do not deny it, nor do they drown in it. Instead, they meet pain with reverence, treating each wound as a teacher, each crisis as a portal. They have cultivated the ability to feel deeply without becoming consumed, to grieve without being shattered, to rage without poisoning themselves with bitterness. This differentiated feeling keeps their hearts open, their nervous systems regulated, and their energy coherent. In modern science, we now understand that such coherence protects against inflammation, strengthens immunity, and restores the body's regenerative capacity. The luminous woman lives this truth effortlessly, her peace becoming her medicine. And so, when you stand in their presence, you sense not denial of age but transcendence of it. They do not battle time, they dance with it. They do not cling to youth, they embody timelessness. Their very being creates a field around them where others, too, feel lighter, less bound by the fear of passing years. They carry within them the archetype of the wise woman, not as a figure resigned to decline, but as one who glows with vitality, her wisdom inseparable from her radiance. In them, you glimpse what is possible when shadow, light, suffering, and joy are woven into one luminous tapestry. The most striking quality of these luminous women is their relationship with the future. Where many cling desperately to youth or shrink in fear before the march of years, they walk with anticipation, as if every step leads not toward decline but toward becoming. Their eyes shine not with nostalgia, but with curiosity. They live in the mystery of unfolding, perceiving each moment as a seed of transformation. This forward-looking spirit creates a field of possibility around them, a magnetic energy that draws experiences, people, and opportunities aligned with growth. It is as though life itself conspires to support their evolution. This is what some would call synchronicity, the alignment of inner intention with outer circumstance. But in practice, it feels like grace. When such women smile, it seems the universe smiles back. When they set intentions, pathways open with uncanny ease. Their features reflect this openness, faces capable of infinite expression, eyes that carry endless horizons. They are not fixed by resignation, they are fluid, alive, full of potential. You sense that even in later years, they are still becoming, still unfolding, still participating in creation itself. At a deeper level, their bodies reveal this harmony. Science now describes how emotional balance influences the body's cellular processes. When the nervous system is coherent, when breath flows consciously, when the heart rests in peace, hormones regulate, immunity strengthens, and cells regenerate. These women embody such coherence. They have learned, often through practice of breath and meditation, to keep their inner rhythm steady even in storm. Their physiology becomes a reflection of their spiritual state, youth sustained not by artifice but by alignment. What emerges is not the denial of age, but a different relationship with it. They no longer fear lines upon the face or gray upon the hair, for they know these are surface ripples upon a much deeper sea. Their vitality is not confined to appearance but radiates as presence. In their company, you feel yourself lifted, as though their peace extends to you. Time seems to soften around them, and for a moment, you too are freed from its weight. Their youth is contagious, not because of cosmetics, but because it arises from the eternal source they embody. This is the rare spiritual trait they carry, the union of soul and time, the marriage of inner practice with outer presence. They have discovered that aging is not an enemy to be conquered but a dance partner to be embraced. Through shadow work, through surrender, through balance of energies, they have found a path that bends time. And in their steps, you see not decline but revelation, the eternal feminine, radiant, timeless, and whole. Beneath their radiance lies a deeper wisdom, the understanding that nothing in life is wasted. Every joy, every wound, every season of despair has been transmuted into substance for their becoming. They live what sages once called a symbolic life, perceiving meaning where others see only circumstance. In their eyes, even the smallest detail, a bird's call, a dream, a fleeting encounter, carries guidance from the invisible world. This orientation toward meaning prevents the exhaustion that comes from emptiness. Instead of being drained by the question, "What is the point?" they are renewed by the realization that everything has a purpose. This way of living turns daily rituals into sacred practices. Cooking, walking, breathing, speaking, nothing is ordinary when infused with presence. Their mornings are not rushed beginnings but ceremonies of renewal. Their conversations are not idle chatter but exchanges of light. Even their suffering, when it comes, is embraced as alchemy, raw experience becoming wisdom, pain transfiguring into depth. Such women move through life like quiet flames, never burning out because they draw from an inexhaustible source within. Their radiance is not performance but essence, and it requires no audience to sustain itself. Depth psychology once spoke of a natural healing function within the psyche, an innate drive toward wholeness. These luminous women have awakened this function consciously. In meditation, in silence, in surrender, they have learned to step aside and allow the soul's intelligence to heal itself. Their bodies respond with vitality, their spirits with clarity. Renewal flows from the inside out, not as an occasional miracle but as a steady rhythm, like the tides answering the pull of the moon. They live as proof that the psyche and the body are not separate domains, but mirrors of the same unified essence. This is why their youthfulness feels so natural, so unforced. They are not chasing an ideal imposed by culture, they are embodying their own eternal nature. In their presence, you do not see someone trying to hold back time, you see someone flowing with eternity. Their beauty is not fragile, dependent on surface perfection, it is resilient, born of depth. They remind us that the true fountain of youth is not hidden in faraway springs but within the soul's capacity to live consciously, to release, to integrate, and to trust the eternal currents of life. As we journey further into this mystery, we discover that the luminous woman's youthfulness is inseparable from her relationship with time itself. Where most perceive time as a relentless river sweeping them toward decay, she sees it as a vast ocean in which she may choose how to sail. She does not resist the tides, nor does she drift aimlessly. She has learned to navigate, guided by inner stars invisible to the ordinary eye. To her, each season of life is not loss but initiation, each wrinkle not a scar but a scripture inscribed by the soul. This wisdom is ancient, yet alive in her very presence. She embodies the archetype of the wise woman, not the withered crone of forgotten tales, but a figure of vibrant authority, her wisdom inseparable from vitality. In her, the cycles of nature find their human expression, the waxing and waning moon, the turning of seasons, the eternal renewal of spring after winter's death. She lives as nature lives, in rhythm, in surrender, in trust. Her agelessness arises not from denial of mortality but from intimate friendship with it. She has made peace with impermanence, and that peace makes her luminous. In their studies, alchemists called this state the conjunction, the mystical marriage of opposites. Psychology speaks of the union of the conscious and unconscious. Eastern practice calls it harmony of yin and yang. Whatever the name, the essence is the same. When division dissolves, when inner conflict ceases, energy once wasted flows freely. The body heals, the spirit expands, and time itself seems to soften. These women are walking temples of this union, carrying within them the alchemy that heals both themselves and those who encounter them. Look into their eyes and you will see it, not youth, but timelessness, not denial, but acceptance, not fear, but freedom. They do not cling to what has passed, nor do they dread what awaits. They live fully in the now, yet their now is vast, stretching beyond past and future. In their company, you feel yourself pulled into this timeless field. The anxieties of age loosen their grip. The heaviness of mortality lifts. You begin to remember, if only for a moment, that eternity has always been closer than your breath. Their gift is not only for themselves. They become mirrors for what is possible in all of us. They remind us that aging need not be a descent but can be a revelation. They carry the wisdom of countless generations, yet they radiate the freshness of perpetual beginning. They are proof that when the soul integrates its fragments and aligns with the eternal, the body cannot help but shine. At the heart of their radiance is a delicate balance, the ability to feel deeply without being consumed. These women grieve fully, but grief does not fossilize within them. They rage authentically, but rage does not poison their blood. They love wholeheartedly, yet they do not cling when love must change its form. This refined sensitivity is what depth psychology once called differentiated feeling, the capacity to discern which emotions serve growth and which perpetuate suffering. In Eastern practice, it echoes the art of non-attachment, to embrace the fullness of life while remaining free from chains. Their nervous systems stay coherent even under pressure, their hearts beating in rhythm with breath and earth. Science now affirms what sages knew: such coherence regulates hormones, strengthens immunity, and slows the body's aging. They have also mastered the art of holding opposites. Instead of rushing to escape discomfort or force resolution, they dwell in the tension, allowing life to unfold its hidden wisdom. Where others fracture under contradictions, they discover integration. They can sit with paradox, joy inside sorrow, peace within chaos, strength inside vulnerability, without being torn apart. This ability transforms their very presence. In their eyes, you see not avoidance but depth, not naivety but earned peace. They have discovered the spiritual truth that suffering, when consciously embraced, becomes initiation rather than punishment. Perhaps their greatest gift, however, lies in their orientation toward what lies ahead. While so many grasp desperately at fading youth or tremble at the shadows of age, these luminous souls move forward with openness. They cultivate what might be called perspective vision, the sense that every moment holds potential, every season of life brings new possibilities. They do not ask, "How much time do I have left?" but rather, "What is the soul inviting me to become now?" This shift in perspective bends reality around them. They attract synchronicities, relationships, and opportunities that support their unfolding, as if existence itself responds to their readiness. Look closely, and you will see how their features reflect this openness. Where resignation etches rigidity into the faces of many, their expressions remain fluid, alive, curious. Their eyes hold the shimmer of endless discovery, as though eternity itself peers out through them. Their laughter carries the freshness of spring, no matter their years. Their silence is not heaviness but vastness, a sanctuary for those who draw near. In them, you encounter not just a person, but a living invitation, to remember that aging is not the erosion of possibility but its continual expansion. What emerges in these women is the embodiment of a deeper union, the marriage of microcosm and macrocosm, the alignment of personal rhythm with the eternal cycles of the cosmos. Ancient mystics called this the great work of alchemy, to unite the human with the divine, the finite with the infinite. Depth psychology spoke of it as the unus mundus, the one world that underlies all things. In Eastern teaching, it is simply the Tao, the way that flows through heaven and earth. Whatever the name, the essence is this: their lives are synchronized with the vast intelligence that governs creation itself. Such integration requires what sages have long described as a permeable self. The luminous woman has cultivated an ego strong enough to stand in the world, yet open enough to be guided by archetypal forces greater than her personal will. She has learned to listen, not just to her own thoughts, but to the whispers of dreams, the symbols of myth, the voices of ancestors echoing through her unconscious. In her, the eternal feminine principle is alive, not as an abstract idea but as a living current of renewal. She becomes a vessel through which something larger speaks, moves, and creates. This channeling of transpersonal energy grants her a timeless authority. Her presence feels older than her years, yet fresher than her age suggests. When she speaks, it is not merely her words you hear, but the resonance of wisdom carried across generations. Her laughter holds echoes of women who came before, her silence carries the prayers of those yet to come. She embodies continuity, the bridge between past, present, and future. And in that embodiment, time itself bends, softening its sharpness, loosening its grip. The alchemists once named the fruit of this inner marriage the philosopher's child, a reborn self, carrying both the wisdom of experience and the wonder of perpetual beginning. In luminous women, this rebirth is visible in every gesture. Their eyes gleam with innocence undiminished by age, while their voices carry depth carved by trial and transformation. They are paradox made flesh, ancient yet new, grounded yet ethereal, mortal yet touched by eternity. This paradox does not weaken them, it illuminates them. In their presence, you feel something stir within yourself. You sense your own possibility for renewal, your own capacity to live in harmony with what is timeless. They awaken in you the memory that you, too, are more than flesh marked by years. You are consciousness, eternal in essence, capable of radiance no clock can diminish. Their gift is not to dazzle with unattainable mystery but to remind you that the same wellspring flows in you, waiting to be uncovered through courage, surrender, and practice. As our exploration nears its end, a profound truth emerges: the fountain of youth is not hidden in distant lands, nor locked in secret elixirs. It dwells within, waiting for those willing to walk the inner path. The luminous women we have spoken of are not magicians. They have not escaped the laws of nature, but they have discovered how to live in harmony with the deeper laws that govern both soul and cosmos. Their apparent youth is not a trick of appearance but the natural expression of a psyche integrated, a spirit at peace, and a consciousness aligned with the eternal. They have faced their shadows and brought them into light. They have surrendered what no longer serves, again and again, until their hearts became spacious enough to house eternity. They have danced with suffering and turned it into wisdom, embraced paradox and found wholeness, released illusions and discovered freedom. Their radiance is the fruit of discipline and surrender, of meditation and meaning, of shadow work and soulful trust. They reveal what is possible when we stop living as fragments and begin living as a whole. The implications stretch far beyond beauty or longevity. They suggest that the evolution of consciousness itself may reshape the way humanity inhabits the body. If the psyche and the soma are two faces of one reality, then transformation in one inevitably alters the other. What we heal within, we reflect without. What we integrate in spirit, we embody in form. The luminous woman stands as living testimony that our future may not be bound by decline, but illumined by deeper becoming. And so the invitation is before you. This rare spiritual trait is not theirs alone, it is available to all who dare the journey. To live consciously. To welcome the shadow. To practice presence. To honor the body as the temple of spirit. To live symbolically, treating every moment as meaningful. To release what binds and embrace what renews. These are not lofty ideals but practical steps, daily choices, humble practices that slowly weave eternity into our lives. If, as you've listened, you have felt something stir within you, a recognition, a longing, a whisper that you too can walk this path, then you have already begun. The ageless light you admire in others is the same light glowing within you, waiting to be uncovered. Your soul is timeless, and when you live from its depths, time itself bows in reverence. This is the true secret of luminous youth, to remember who you are beyond the years, beyond the mirror, beyond the roles you wear. You are eternal. And when you live from that truth, your very presence becomes medicine, for yourself, and for the world.